parichakshita venamekam rite shubham prapta idrisham aishvaryam yadanugraha bhajanaha kovainam parichakshita venamekam rite shubham prapta idrisham aishvaryam yadanugraha bhajanaha kovainam parichakshita venamekam rite shubham prapta idrisham aishvaryam yadanugraha
Kovainam parichakshita venamekam rite shubham praptai drisham aishvaryam yadanugraha bhajanaha
kaha hu va indeed elam the Lord parichakshita would blaspheme venam King Vena ekam alone rite but for ashubham inauspicious praptaha having obtained idrisham like this aishvaryam opulence yat whose anugraha mercy bhajanaha receiving. You want to read the translation? Translation. But for the King Vena, who is simply inauspicious, who would blaspheme the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose mercy one is awarded all kinds of fortune and opulence. Purport. When human society, individually or collectively, becomes godless and blaspheming the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is certainly destined to ruination. Such a civilization invites all kinds of bad fortune due to not appreciating the mercy of the Lord.
Okay. What?
Just talking, I will adjust.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can you hear? Okay. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gananyalasrakya Chakshurun Melitonin Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Tadati Sva Padantikam. I have a special destiny in my life that I frequently asked to give classes just before the class. The worst one was we traveled to Bhaktivedanta Manor just to hear classes by my Guru Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj. And it's Sunday, Bhaktivedanta Manor is the biggest congregation in Europe. And it's Sunday, that means everyone is free. And so the temple room in Manor is not so big, but they also have another room, prasadam room. So it was packed, and the prasadam room was packed, and they were in the corridor, they were packed, up the stairs, were packed, everybody waiting for Radhanath Maharaj to give class, including me. And then comes temple commander, pat me on the shoulder. Maharaj is sick, can you give the class? And then you have all these 200-300 people waiting. And then comes this guy, and you know, who is that? So, anyway, the qualification always lies on the order or request. So I am honoring the request of Vedasara on my head today and try to make some service. And Prabhupada said also that a devotee should be ready to preach anytime on the spot. So, yeah, that's his instruction. So here, the Brahmins are explaining another aspect of King Venos, which is actually the main, is blaspheming the Supreme Lord. There's a saying, and the reason, the Supreme Lord, who has given everything. So there's a saying, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. But that's exactly what he's doing. And that is, and Prabhupada describes the whole civilization which is like that, is doomed. The Supreme Lord not only supplies everything, that is actually the first thing you should know. In each Upanishad, each Upanishad is the Upanishad of Isha. That means the Lord as the controller. Controller means protector. So the first thing you should know about God is that He supplies everyone else with a quota. And not only that, He decides who will get which quota. So you have to respect, if you want to respect the Lord, first you praise Him that He is the supplier. Next is you respect the quota given to all others. And you are content with the quota given to you. This is a peace formula in one verse. Isha Vasha Vedanta. It's a whole formula for spiritual life, starting with generating devotion, and second, and the starting point is gratitude and recognition. And this bhakti starts with gratitude. You have to first get that point. That, yeah. Nityanam Nityananam Chetanas Chetananam Nityanam Eka Bahunam Viradati Kama. Yeah, there are many living entities, but there is one who supplies all the others. Of all these conscious living entities. So you'll see this one time Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was asked, what's the difference between sin and offense? And he said, offense is 1,000 times worse. We may be very concerned about sins, and we should, but sins is still within the modes of material nature. If you're sinful, you will go down in the modes. But you see, many sinful people can be open to spiritual mercy. Because for bhakti, there is no qualification or disqualification, materially speaking. Jagai and Madai was supremely sinful, but they were quickly rescued because they were not offensive. And Sambhav Bhattacharya, who was sinless and cultured, took Lord Chaitanya 7 days to rescue him because he was impersonalist. That's offensive. The outlook itself is offensive. Though he was a highly cultured person and highly learned. But it was a more difficult case. Now you see here that offense, or offensive understanding, offensive attitude, is a much bigger problem than sins. That doesn't mean sins are not an issue. But we follow 4 regulative principles to support, because it's favorable. But you can follow 4 regulative principles and be an atheist. In sports, trainers, I know that because I was doing sport in my teenage. Trainers know very well problem of certain sinful life. Of course, intoxication is obvious, but sex, for example, they know very well. Italian football team were world champions 2006. They were told to live in celibacy half a year before the championship. To ask a footballer to live in celibacy, that's quite something. Football and pub, you know. So they did it and they won. So so when we take initiation, there are 2. We promise 2 things. One is to chant 16 rounds, but not just chant 16 rounds. Chant 16 rounds, trying to avoid offenses. And then follow 4 regulative principles. Follow 4 regulative principles is Pancharatra. It's supportive to bring you to goodness. But it's, as I said, it's not spiritual. But the most important is not even to chant 16 rounds. the most important in initiation is to chant offenseless, to avoid offenses. That's why Prabhupada, and it's still going on in many cases, giving the initiation class concentrated on the offenses. Because what is the offenses? There is, sometimes people get a little paranoid. Oh, I'm so afraid of committing offenses. This offense and this and that. It's not just some rules. You have to understand what is the core line of all these offenses. There's one principle in the whole. And that is, for example, you should not blaspheme devotees, you should not criticize the guru, you should not equalize Krishna with demigods, you should not criticize the scriptures, you should not criticize the potency of the holy name, you should not speculate, you should not abuse the holy name, committing sinful, you should not think the holy name is a kind of material activity, and you should not cast pearl for swine. That means don't go into the inner secrets of the holy name to anybody, and not maintain. That's not hearing so many instructions. So it's a red line in all this, and that is, you should not be disrespectful. You should respect the Vaishnavas, Krishna's position, Guru, Scripture, holy name power, and if you abuse the holy name to counteract your sin, that's disrespectful. It's a misuse. If you think holy name is going to just improve your whole material life, that's disrespectful. If you cast pearls for swine, it's disrespectful. So the whole thing is, therefore Lord Chaitanya said, Trinadapis and Tarorapis Amanina Manina Kirtanyasan. Be humble, respectful. What does respect mean? More or less, it means the same as faith. Prabhupada uses sometimes Shraddha as respect also. Because, and what does it mean? It means to value. And if you just value anything about Sankirtan movement, a little bit, that's the beginning of your spiritual life. And that counts so much more than anything else. At that point, was it, the guy became converted. And they attacked. First they ran after Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu to kill them, but they were too drunk, they didn't manage. Nityananda Prabhu goes up a few days later. And I asked her, what is your name? Avadut. And then they became seriously offended. And mother, and he's bleeding, and he's still saying, I don't mind, just take my mercy, take the holy name. And then the guy woke up. He started to, what kind of person is this? We are killing him, and he's just continuing. Then he appreciated Lord Nityananda a little bit. So much so that he said, my brother, stop. This is not normal person. This is. And then later Lord Nityananda told Lord Chaitanya, we came in the chakra, and he said, no, he saved my life. And then immediately Lord Chaitanya went to Jagai and embraced him and gave him prayer. This is all in a nutshell. When the Lord is here himself, it goes fast. On the spot, from full sinful life to Prema Bhakti. Because of some respect. So the Sankirtan movement is congregationally trying to, actually Kirtan means to make famous. The word Krishna's name is, one of Krishna's names is Kirtivaj. He's the most famous king. So the word Kirti means famous or known. Just like in modern times you have celebrities. They are in the human society, the one they are glorified. Prabhupada said you can make one person completely unknown famous just by propagation. And they are just what they are because of propagation, nothing else. And so the Sankirtan movement is to make Krishna famous or attractive. So some or other, and that's why Lord Chaitanya took sannyas. He took sannyas to get more people to respect him. That was the point. To increase the possibility of respect, of appreciation. He took sannyas and it worked. Similarly, whatever we do in the preaching movement is to increase the respect and appreciation. Some or other, whatever way. Like Prabhupada told in India, because they are accustomed to deity worship, he told Giriraj Maharaj, you want to preach in India, you have to have gorgeous deity worship. That will make the Indians respect and be attracted and come. And then when they come, they will encounter the Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy name, association of devotees, the Yuga Dharma. So, so you say, also prasadam, same thing. Try to make nice prasadam, and then people just appreciate prasadam. Has a great potency. No, these Hare Krishnas, they are nice. Steve Jobs, from iPhone. As a student, he used to go. He was poor. He used to walk long distance to have student prasadam from the campus. And he glorified that later on big meetings with other IT people. He was a blessed soul, very successful man also. So there is just one story, very graphical story, regarding the potency of a little appreciation with the activities of the Sanctum movement. It's from Russia. So, after communism fell, there was great opportunity for enterprising people to make money quick. Because now the market was opened up, there was no this state regulation suppression. You could actually make business. So there was a number of people, especially young, who got rich very fast, including some devotees, because they had that desire, and then Krishna fulfilled it. Anyway, there was one man, and you know, and people are not used to have money. They get a lot of money. It's called the new rich people, the yuppies. They don't know how to handle that situation very well. They don't know how to handle opulences. So he got a lot of money and bought an expensive sports car and was partying like anything. You know, they had the same time after the French Revolution. Because after the French Revolution, the aristocracy, the suppression of aristocracy, now the Vaishyas could flourish without any restriction. So they also, you know, partying, and they were criticized by the church. And then their reply was, after us comes the flood of sin. In other words, this is the atheistic remark. Yeah, we are partying, we are living sinful, but you know, it's not our problem. It's for the future times. Anyway, this man, he was partying a lot of vodka, and he was also driving in his fast sport car, drunk. And he had a severe crash. And he went into coma. And he had a near-death experience. He actually went to Yamaraj. And they looked through his archives. And it looked really bad. And Yamaraj asked, you know, Chitragupta, isn't there anything good this man has done? And he looked, oh yes. He was waving to the Harinam party. How many times? 23 times. They have it completely down to the detail. 23 times. So he was waving. Why? Because he is out to enjoy, having a good time. And then you have this happy Hare Krishnas, you know, dancing and having a good time also. I like that. He showed his appreciation by waving. And then Yamaraj asked him, what would you do if I give you another chance? I will become a devotee. And he actually it was a near-death experience, and he returned to life and went straight to the temple and joined them. Became a devotee. So you see, so therefore, you know, Sankirtan is mentioned in Act of Devotion. It's Shubhada. It's all auspicious. There were Prabhupada said, article in newspaper, bad news, bad about Hare Krishna, or not bad, or good. Not that much big difference. If Krishna is mentioned, it's auspicious. It's all auspicious. So, now, Prabhupada is making a point, as we mentioned, that a civilization which is permeated with this disrespect for the Supreme Lord is doomed. So, that is exactly what the modern civilization is. And how is this? We mentioned that earlier in the class some days ago. How is this disrespect manifested? It's not that you will find so many people like in the communist system, openly blaspheming God. This is not the way of disrespect to religion or to the Lord in the modern civilization. The disrespect to the Lord is manifested by being it's in Prabhupada's mantra. These countries which are filled with Mayavad. Because Mayavad is not, it's a systematic, offensive outlook. It's not that one person is just hating God or blaspheming. No, the whole outlook which people are trained in is disrespectful. Avajananti mamuda. Relativizing God and his shastras, his devotees, as equal to anything material. Therefore Krishna says, they neglect me. So this is a way, like Prabhupada said, you kill Krishna by philosophy. Lord Chaitanya identified this as the main demoniac enemy of the Sankirtan. And it was clearly manifested in the pastime with Lord Chaitanya and Advaitacharya. Advaitacharya knew that Lord Chaitanya is Advaitacharya is Vishnu, but Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. So he knew he is my origin. So he always wanted to respect, treat Lord Chaitanya as Mahaprabhu, as this, But Lord Chaitanya followed the etiquette. Advaitacharya was double H as him. He was a Brahmin, he's devotee. So he never allowed. So Advaitacharya was so frustrated, so he devised a trick how to get Lord Chaitanya to accept him as a servant. And what did he do? He preached Mayavad philosophy. When Lord Chaitanya heard about that, he was in Mayapur and Vedacharya was in Shantipur. So he took Lord Chaitanya, we have to go there. And they went there, and Lord Vedacharya saw them coming. He spoke even louder in his class. He was giving a class speaking my word philosophy, and he raised his voice, so it became even more provoking. Lord Chaitanya, who otherwise followed any etiquette and was a perfect gentleman, now he attacks Advaitacharya. He goes to Vyasa-san. We made a theater once on this. Go to Vyasa-san, throw him off the Vyasa-san, and start to beat him severely. And the wife said, "No, he's an old man, please." Yeah, old men are not so strong. And the Advaitacharya is just laughing, finally. Because when you chastise somebody, it means you treat them as servants. You can chastise servants, only servants. And he is happy, in bliss. And afterwards they have a discussion. And he's commenting on the Mayavadis in Varanasi. And Lord Chaitanya said, "They are cutting off my arms, my legs. I gave this leader a leprosy, but he still doesn't understand." So Lord Chaitanya very clearly said, this concept of Mayavad, wherein you can, yes, we allow you to exist as a religion, but it's just one of so many faiths. It's actually illusion. They don't say that, but that's what it is. It's just a faith. Mythology, huh? We are trained to look at religion of the past. Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Indian mythology. That means it's just illusion. It's just, at best, a faith. Oh, we respect you. We are so civilized. But it's blasphemous. Packed up as respectful. But at the bottom line, it's disrespectful. It's offensive. So like I said, you make people atheists thinking they are respecting religion at the same time. The magic of demons doing it by sound. They appear in Kali Yuga as intellectuals, as producer of sound, and correspondingly the Supreme Lord also appeared in a Brahmin family, isn't it? Not only him, most of his associates, they're all Brahmins, because that's where they have to fight the demons. The demons try to kill by sound, we will counteract by sound. That's where the battle goes on. Even they understand it in society, cyber war. The battle goes on the sound level. Therefore we are chanting publicly. We are propagating publicly. We are distributing books. It's the sound. We have to get out the sound, because that's the avatar of the Lord in Kali. Kali Kali Nama Rupa Krishna avatar. So, therefore this is the mission of Krishna is to support the devotees, Vinashaya Chadushkitam, and annihilate the demoniac. And that is the same, that is how the devotees, or those who are devotional inclined, supported by spreading the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is nourishing the devotional inclination. Anyone who's a little open, they can be nourished. He's feeding a good dog. In Kali Yuga, demon and devotee is in the same person. So Lord Chaitanya arranges in different ways to feed a good dog. But at the same time, he's making, like in this pastime, he's making it very clear that this has to be battled. So therefore Prabhupada's, I mentioned it before, Prabhupada's explanation of his, so the Prabhupada's mission is also Gauravani Pracharya Nirvishis, and it's killing demons in Kali Yuga means to fight Maya. That's how Prabhupada explains. So this is going on just like before. Krishna appeared, inspired the devotees, and he killed demons. The same going on today. But it's by the words of the sadhus. Just like here, the Brahmins, they kill by sound. They kill Vena by sound. But the same thing happened today. Prabhupada's books, like you said, it's bombs, time bombs. I'm coming from the late 60s, beginning of 70s, in the aftermath of the hippie movement. And we were very upset with this civilization. Anything about it. Politics, science, you name it. I was upset. But I didn't understand why it was. I was just upset and I couldn't understand. And then Prabhupada came and he made it very clear. Yeah, it is like that because of, mentioned here, systematic disrespect for the Supreme Lord. Offensive. That is the... So he went to the Prabhupada is, we talk about, we thought we were radical and revolutionary at that time. But radical means, you know the word radical means, come from Latin, radis. It means root. So to be radical means to go to the root. And who is the root? Mula is Krishna. The Prabhupada and the Sankirtan, it's the actual radical movement. And it's actually, like I said, the Bhagavatam is meant to create a revolution in the heart of impious, offensive persons. And revolution means re-evolution. That means we had a evolution now, where it's going to hell. Now we have to make a new evolution. That's revolution. And that is what Prabhupada said at the Sankirtan movement. The future historians will notice how the Sankirtan movement turned the history around and saved this civilization. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying this, that those who neglect my position, those who are offensive, disrespectful, whatever they do, moga sa moga karmana moga jnana vichetasa, raksasima surim chala, prakriti moinim shita. Whatever they do, endeavors, just like Paradmas is lamenting about people making plans and endeavoring for no You know, he is lamenting out of compassion for them. Because it's all a waste. You make so much endeavor. But it's not going to give, you're not going to succeed. And that's what Krishna is saying. Endeavors in karma and jnana, endeavors in knowledge, endeavors in karma will fail. Then you see, like I mentioned, if you, by your endeavors in knowledge, end up in this liquid gender, where you are told that you can be whatever you like at the moment. You can be, if you want to be a Chinese lady with 3 children, 60 years old, so then you are that. In that moment this is crazy. Completely crazy. But no, craziness is considered high education. So that is what Krishna says. His endeavors of knowledge becomes completely useless. And with little bit common sense can see. And endeavors. Yeah, you make endeavor. Big endeavor, especially communistic project. Big endeavor. All over the world. A total fiasco. Completely opposite of what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a system of equality. It ends up with being totalitarian, dictatorship, abuse of people like anything. This is one main, this mentality. It's not that I could say it's finished. Well, the mentality is still hanging in. The cultural communism is still hanging in. And Prabhupada said this is one of the main evil enemies of Sanctum movement. So when it is interesting also that in the modern time that the two prominent acharyas is in the last 100 years is a little bit more. It's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada. And they have the same specific. Prabhupada was recognized by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati because he wrote one poem. Absolutely sentient, you thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity thou hast removed. And Prabhupada was designated as Senapati Bhakta. It's interesting, he's an acharya, he's a teacher, but he's designated like a general who is fighting. But he's fighting these demons in this way, by fighting Mayavad. Therefore it's all over his books. And he has to mention it from this angle, from that angle, and over again, because it's subtle. So this is why here it said a civilization which is systematically disrespecting Supreme Lord and his devotees is condemned. And that is what is accomplished by spreading an outlook of the world which is Mayavad. That means, Mayavad means everything is material. Because one devotee friend of me said, no, but Prabhupada's main preaching was against materialism. And I said, no. Materialism is just an effect of Mayavad. The core, bottom line, is the Mayavad. Because One thinks that this Mayavad is a spiritual philosophy. It's not. It's present because Krishna, when he told Lord Shiva to preach this, he said, preach this to increase the population. There was no spiritual purpose by this philosophy. It's not for spiritual purpose. Neither is Buddhism for spiritual purpose. Just to increase population, increase materialism. Increase population so more people get mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So, so that is what Prabhupada is empowered. He's empowered to make devotees anywhere and also to liberate us from these clutches of Maya. So therefore, what is the counter? What is the, again, the same thing. If disrespect is the problem by the Mayavadi, what outlook? What is the medicine? To glorify. Constant kirtaniya sadhari. Glorify in the association of devotees who have in the Guru Parampara. This is the medicine to counteract. And it has to be, it has to be over and over and over again. If we do that, we can actually, we will be empowered to respect. And that respect goes into higher appreciation and finally into love, which is the ultimate appreciation. The full appreciation. So I just want to conclude now. It's not related exactly to class, but I very much like this pastime. Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya, after he took sannyas, we also made a theater on this one. After he took sannyas, he was going to Jagannath Puri. He agreed with his mother that if he make his camp there, she will get to hear news from him. So he was now taking sannyas to be a missionary. For 6 years he traveled around, village to village, and was a parivarikacharya, you might say. So he wanted to test out preaching, so he came to a river and he saw a washerman washing clothes in the river. And the washerman, he also saw Lord Chaitanya. So, he just saw saffron. He saw there's some saffron coming in. And he was a real Muda, Muda means ass. That means ass thinks if I don't work, heavy burden, all day I won't get grass. So but Prabhupada said there is grass on the roadside you can take. It's not that you don't get grass unless you work like a Muda. But therefore they put this on the asses also then. So he was so much a Muda that he he didn't go home to take in the village to take a lunch break, just to save time and not waste time. He had arranged that his wife would bring the lunch to him on the river side, so he would save time to work more. So as a Buddha, he was, of course, extremely attached to. You work so hard, so you become really attached to what you earn. And when he saw Lord Chaitanya, he didn't, wasn't very cultured, he didn't really know the difference between brahmacharya and sannyasa. But this saffron people, I know one thing about them. They come and ask you for something. Bhiksha, donations. So he became alarmed. And he saw Lord Chaitanya coming closer. Oh no, he's coming here. And he will ask me for something. He will ask me for someone. And I will not give. And he's coming closer and he's getting more and more nervous. And then Lord Chaitanya goes up to him and he says, "Can I ask you for something?" And he just thinks, okay, I will not communicate. I'm just boycotting. I'm just stay silent. And Lord Chaitanya asks again. Just a little thing. Can I ask you one thing? Can you say Hare Krishna? And then he starts saying, "Oh, he's not asking for money. Maybe I can say Hare Krishna. Doesn't cost too much." And he says, "Hare Krishna." And then Lord Chaitanya, "Can you say it one more time?" And he said, "Hare Krishna." And one more time, "Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna." And he's just getting crazy in ecstasy. And he started to go up and dance. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then the wife comes. And he sees the husband jumping, chanting Hare Krishna, like a crazy man. And he says, "Oh my God, my husband got crazy." And she goes back to the village and brings the people of the village. They all come down there and they see this. And they also start chanting. So the whole village is chanting Hare Krishna in ecstasy. So this is very nice. It's a story. And the thing is, again, the same thing, that he appreciated that Lord Chaitanya didn't ask him for money. He just asked, he asked for such a little thing. And that was enough. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
When I watch old Prabhupada footage, the rock carriages are massive, like gigantic. Rock carriages, 100,000 of people. And then
I didn't get.
when
He said when he watching all Prabhupada's footage videos, that there's with Rat Theater, there's tons of people there.
Yeah.
but when you do rock carriages now, it feels like people see Hare Krishnas for the first time. And you were talking about how it's a battle of sound. So I was wondering what kind of sound the demons use to make everyone forget over 40, 50 years what Hare Krishnas are.
What the sound they use?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the create a culture of secularism, which is making a place for religion and spirituality, but implicit disrespecting it as a question of faith, as just one belief among others. That is, they do it by this equality, that what is unique, for example, Ratha Yatra, dancing in ecstasy, is just another festival like so many other festivals. That is offensive. This is completely unique. You see? I can tell you from my own life, I was searching. At the same time, I was nicely being trained as a Mayavad in the educational system without being aware of it. So, one who was in the beginning, a Vatman Padashika guru, because this is in Norway. So in Norway, actually, the movement didn't start registered before 81, but Prabhupada came there 72, and not physical form, but the Macmillan Bhagavad Gitas arrived in city of Bergen 72, and some India interested youth, they bought the whole stock from the main bookstore, and they started to read Prabhupada's books, and from there actually the real movement started. Some devotees were also in Mayapur Festival 75 from this group. So I met one of these people from this group later, 77, 78. He was not an ISKCON devotee, but he had also other guru. He did yoga, but he appreciated Prabhupada. Again, the same thing. If you appreciate Prabhupada, you can preach with effect, whatever you appreciate. And he had faith. So I used to go to him and discuss, because I was searching. And then he showed me a painting of either it was Krishna or Vishnu, but yellow, dirty, and blue. So he said, what would you do if you meet any of these blue ones on the street? And I was thinking, the blue ones on the street. This is Indian mythology. I didn't say that. This is just the creative Indian, they have so many colorful fantasies, That's how I was thinking. That's mine. But when he said it, he cut me partly out of. I understood. And he said, I will bow down if I met him. And then it got in my, these are real. They are not material creations. Another example is there were some American academics, probably previous hippies, otherwise why they come up with such ideas. And they were studying the Vedas, and the Vedas, it's so many fantastic things there, unbelievable things, isn't it, in the Vedas. And they were wondering, how they can write such literature? All these fantastic things. So they figured out, one theory they came up with was that, the Vedas came about because the Brahmins took a lot of somaras, which is intoxicant, and then they became very creative and they wrote the Vedas. Good science fiction authors get intoxicated, became very good. So this is, you see, this kind of understanding is everywhere. And again the same thing. Constant Kirtaniya Sadari, hearing, chanting, constant from the mouth of pure devotees, repeating, is the medicine by which we will be blessed to, by which Krishna will reveal himself. That means he reveals his love. And when he reveals his love, so our love will be fully awakened. So, okay. Hare Krishna. All right. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Tapas Prabhu ki
Yeah, I think I could be able to do a little service because practically the only thing I can do. So.